lovely Mrs. May, we have been busy knocking doors, dropping leaflets, talking to people, getting our message out there, making sure that people understand we did not want this election. We didn't call this election, but we can damn well win this election. We need one last big Republican push to get this man elected, and he will do us all proud. We know that. We know when we knock on doors. We know that he is very well received in virtually every community in this constituency. We know that we have the best candidates. We did not vote for Brexit. The North voted to remain. Mrs. May wants to drag our people out of the European Union. She doesn't care about the people who live in Castlewellan. She doesn't care about the people who live in Dublin, Cork or Galway, but we do. We do not want to see a return to the borders of the past. We do not want to see a hard border or any border on this island. So we need to make sure that we use this election as an opportunity to send a very loud, a very clear and a very strong message to London and also to our new Taoiseach in waiting in Dublin, because I can tell you he cares no more for Castlewellan than Mrs. May does. So let's get out there, let's do this. And I now have the pleasure of introducing your candidate, Chris Hazard, a fine young Republican man who will do us all proud.
I want to thank you all for turning up here today in such large numbers and from all corners of our island, from Kerry, from Dublin, from Donegal, from everywhere you've come and from all corners of our county as well. On this last Saturday before what I believe and what we all believe will be a truly historic election, what Gerry Adams would call a defining moment for republicanism, not just in this county but on our island. I want to extend a special word of thanks to our Chuck Dadala, Louise, John Brady, Sean Crew and Imelda Munster are also here today to support us, and a special welcome and a special thanks to all of our comrades, despite what some of them have been described and called in different parts from all over this island, for their help over the last number of weeks. I also want to thank and congratulate Roisin Mulgrew and Willie Clark on their election this week to be the mayor and the deputy mayor of this part of the world. In Roisin and Willie, we have two fine Republican leaders, and I have no doubt that this year will be very successful in the council. But today's mass mobilisation is part of our final drive to elect the Sinn Féin MP for the very first time in what has been to date the jewel in the SDLP crown. But no more, folks, not in 6 days' time. If successful, a Sinn Féin victory will be monumental. It will be a monumental breakthrough for Republicans in this county that will bring to end a generation of an SDLP stranglehold. For all of my life they have held this seat, no more. Standing here today before you, I'm mindful that the current strength of Sinn Féin, both locally and national, would not have been possible without the sacrifice and courage of those who went before. I speak in particular of generations of men and women who fought and died for Irish freedom at a time when British and Unionist dominance and oppression were at its height. I thank all of the party activists for the mostly unseen work that they have done behind the scenes for decades. I want to acknowledge the role of my fellow councillors and MLAs, past and present, whose tireless efforts as elected representatives have laid the foundation for where we stand today. In particular, I want to say a special mention to two Republican stalwarts who can't be with us here today but need no introduction, although I realise that one of them is indeed here today since this speech has been written. I speak of Mick Murphy, who is here. Fair play to you, Mick. And to Frank Bedole, who sadly can't be here today. Frank and Mick. Frank and Mick were both elected to serve this area in more turbulent times, when being a Sinn Féin representative was a lonely and often a very dangerous position to hold. In acknowledging our shared Republican legacy, I realise that I am truly standing on the shoulders of giants like Mick and Frank, and if elected, I commit to giving all in my position of MP for South Down and furthering the cause of Irish unity and Irish freedom. As a proud County Down man and a Down Irish Republican, I truly believe that we can win this seat. In March of this year, Sinead Ennis and I received an historic 19,000 votes, and we outpolled the SDLP by more than 6,000 votes. This is the platform that we build on Friday. This is the biggest, be under no illusions. This is the biggest electoral battle of all of our lives to date, and it comes down to these 6 days that are ahead of us. Folks, either we rise to this challenge over the next 6 days or we will miss out. But standing here in South Down, we've done too much missing out in the latest years to do missing out again this time next week. I am not prepared to make any more runners-up speeches standing at election counts. But I can't do it on my own. I haven't done it on my own yet, and I won't do it on my own over the next 6 days. I look around me here today and I see the people who will bring us over the line in 6 days' time. I see the people who've been on this journey for decades. I see the people who've recently come on board. But most importantly, I see a team who stepped up in the last month, and I've said this time, no more runners-up, no more near misses. This time we do whatever it takes over the next 6 days to bring us across the line. So let us embrace today with the knowledge that in years to come we will look back at today and the next 6 days as the seminal moment in this campaign that brought us across the line. Because all of the steps we take this week, all the leaflets we deliver, all the doors that we knock, all the people we talk to, that's going to be the difference between winning and losing. Now, I can't make anybody here do it over the next 6 days. You have to look around, you have to feel it inside yourself. Nobody else is going to make you do it. You're going to have to free up your own calendars. You're going to have to tell your wife or your husband that you're not available to go shopping or do whatever you have to do. That you're coming out for Sinn Féin over the next 6 days. You're coming out all day, every day, whatever it takes. But we're ready to do whatever it takes to win. But when we look around here today, we see people who are ready to sacrifice their time, their hobbies, their money, because this is the last week, because they know what is needed over the next days. Don't let them stand alone. We all have to share the workload this week. That's what Republicans do, because we're surrounded by a band of brothers, people who are willing to stand up and do what it counts. Our opponents aren't like this. Our opponents are desperate. They can smell the taste of defeat in the air. They are seeking desperately to survive. So far, we have starved their campaign of oxygen. We have not attacked them. We have not taunted them. Comrades, make sure over the next 6 days we do not give them any oxygen. Be confident, but don't be cocky. Be sure in our victory, but do not rub it in their faces until we get that victory. And just let me finish on this point while we talk about our opponents. The SDLP have attacked Pete McGrath for daring to stand up for Sinn Féin. The SDLP have attacked our comrades from across this island as foreigners who come into the north to canvass for us. The SDLP have attacked the right of the Loughlin Island families to stand up to the British government. My question to you is, are you going to let them away with it? Are you going to beat them next week? This week, folks, we're going to make history. We couldn't have done it without anybody here, and I'm absolutely honoured and privileged to be your candidate, and absolutely honoured and privileged to be the first and the next Sinn Féin MP for South Down. Gor Mila Milgit.
Okay, so I'm going to close. I know you're all